Everybody on our staff has gone through pretty much a program that's called the Institute for Healing Racism, which is a very specific behavioral-oriented type of activity. But we wanted to do more than that. And so along the way, Vicki Rosenberg from the Council of Michigan Foundations and Rapp really wanted to focus in on how to increase the persons coming into organized philanthropy as represented by foundations, how to increase the transforming Michigan philanthropy of making the pathways for careers more open for persons of color, persons of different sexual orientation, and really how to do that so that the funding behaviors were really reflective of all. And so we participated from the very beginning. In fact, I'm on the overarching advisory committee for the state of Michigan for transforming Michigan's philanthropy. And when we learned about the opportunity of the Peer Action Learning Group, Marcia, Rapp, and I just jumped at the chance. So it was, it was a moment of real transformation that we were eager to get going on that.
So that was really huge. I remember a conversation about 2 or 3 years ago when we were talking about a pre-application from a grant, and it was going to be focusing on LGBT issues. And there was one person was speaking her truth about how it can never be right because of her faith. And we had a little bit of a tussle because we didn't have the right words and the right process to really go through it. And I eventually stopped prodding and said, in the lens of inclusion and diversity, which we're seeing this grant, it's okay for the foundation. We can have our separate things. But I haven't heard anything like that since we have been in PALN, because we took a deep dive to make sure that everybody had access to information and tools to use, and some of the unlikely people in the organization really threw themselves into learning, because it wasn't out of hate or anything. It was just like, I just don't know. Now I really want to know.
I think for me, the primary benefit has been that it's opened up this conversation among staff here at the Community Foundation. I see now that my engagement in PALN gave me not only an awareness of why I was maybe feeling the way I was feeling about things, but also the tools to have the conversations then when I came back to the office. So it was about, I think the most important part of the experience for me was the ability to talk about a really tough subject in a safe environment, and then to learn that we all have reasons why we are the way we are and why we hold the kinds of beliefs that we hold. And so I felt more comfortable with myself, and then comfortable with talking about the issue with others.
Like I said, the timing was almost simultaneous, that we began the process just a little bit prior to our PALN sessions. And what we actually did, as you probably know, in the PALN sessions, there was a particular project that you had to have. And we utilized our accreditation as our project. And so what PALN did, first and foremost, helped us to mobilize that and keep that going. And it also spread it out beyond just a few folk. And then it had the whole team that was represented at PALN. Plus it allowed us to develop the culture club, and then other staff people. It was kind of contagious, if you will, and we just kind of spread it around. So it helped us get through that process. which is a very vigorous process. It does not leave any stone unturned, from policies, procedures, to practices, to vendor relations, to publications, and the like. So in different language that we have and so forth, and we devised a diversity statement as a result of that. And so it allowed that to be still fresh and on top of mind, because sometimes when you go through those processes, it takes a long time, because one, it's very vigorous, and so it allowed us to get people excited about the project. And one, we had a deadline in terms of PAL, and so that helped keep it going, and it allowed us to deploy it out to more than just a few staff folk.
My message to other CEOs who are considering the involvement and engagement with the Peer Action Learning Network is to simply do it. There is it has been truly, personally has been a transformational experience for me, and a continued journey for me. Organizationally, I have seen things really emerge out of all of this. As we treat each other as staff members of, so talk to me a little bit more about why you think that way, or what your reaction is, or in my way is, don't be a silent sufferer, talk to me. And I've seen how it has made a very positive impact on board discussions. The elements of our board discussions, which really do focus on policy and issues, not necessarily in the weeds of the organization, but that what should a community foundation, and for the fact of the matter is, I think any type of foundation, what should our face to the community be? And when I think about my colleague foundations here in the greater Grand Rapids area, I know that they are really wanting to have their grants, have their opinions be reflective of every aspect of this community, and the only way that you're able to really understand what that means is to take a deep dive in understanding your own personal belief systems, how that impacts your organization, and ultimately what do we want this community to, what is our community vision, and how can we be a key player in all that. And I would say to anyone, that this is the best experience that you can lead your organization to participate in. Don't hesitate, just do it.